Looking for all the latest tips, tricks, updates of what's going on in the recruiting industry, check out the Digital Recruiter Sunday night newsletter. I am not here to blow up your inbox. I don't have enough time to create an email every single day. I once a week send you impactful, a big thing that I've learned this week or realized from working with hundreds of recruiters, owning an agency myself. I'm in the trenches every day like you are, and I'm sharing everything that I'm seeing every Sunday, from content, from automation, from how to get better clients, how to find candidates quicker, how to grow your team, how to hire people, everything in between. The link is in the comments. Sign up today, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile, Clark Wilcox. It's the first link on my featured section. You can sign up there. It's all free. So you get all the tips, everything that you need, free in your inbox every Sunday night. Sign up today. All right. Today, joined special guest. We met at ERE back in April in Las Vegas. We had a great conversation. We tried to record live in person, but the conference schedule just got chaotic. So we're doing it virtually. Matt Honig at Fastr, head of sales at partnerships at Fastr.ai. How you doing, man? Thanks for being here.
Fantastic, Clark. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, it's overdue, and I think we met. It's just like the first like your cocktail. We just started, talking shop, and you live in my old stomping ground out in LA, and I think you guys are building something cool. I know you spoke there, so I want to talk about that too, because I think we both spoke at ERE, and definitely want to talk about Fastr and AI and all that good stuff. But why don't you start us off by just kind of giving us just an overview of like what Fastr.ai is?
Absolutely, Clark. So Fastr.ai is an AI agent that sits within your ATS. Doesn't matter if you have Greenhouse, Workday, Oracle, SAP, iSIMS. If you have an open API, we can work with you. And at the moment you go live with a job rec, we start matching you with qualified candidates from within your ATS. So that gold mine of candidates that you're already sitting on. We also help you with stack ranking all your incoming candidates because let's face it, recruiters are getting slammed with a high volume of inbound candidates these days. And finally, we also do external sourcing. So you have access to millions upon millions of outside candidates from within your ATS. You don't even have to leave your ATS to access those candidates with Fastr.ai. And the big selling point with us is the fact that it sits natively within your ATS. You don't have to leave your ATS in order to use Fastr.ai. There's no toggle tax or anything like that.
That's you bring up a few interesting things in just describing the company, but the whole like never leaving your ATS. I talked to so many recruiters. Now I do primarily, mostly talk to agency, but even on the corporate side, that the first thing they do when they get a new rec, go to LinkedIn Recruiter. Right. And the way I was always taught, right, and I see your reaction to that, the way I was taught at Aerotech was you go to your database first. You go to the people that interviewed, that you submitted, that didn't get the job. That's the best practice, right? That's like the closest to the money. And it's incredible. Like most of the market just doesn't approach it that way, right? Obviously, you're encouraging, hey, go to your own database first. I got to imagine it's not like one of the biggest obstacles, the learning curves, or like just even getting people to work out of their ATS that
Yeah.
you see.
I mean, it's definitely it can be a learning curve for recruiters, but once they start utilizing Fastr.ai for talent rediscovery purposes, they fall in love with it. You can't blame recruiters though for, you know, being a little shocked at first that, they can actually easily mine their ATS because they're programmed just to hit LinkedIn the moment they go live with the job and start sourcing away.
Yeah. It, so do you see what's that shift look like? What are some of the benefits that you've seen when people have made that shift?
Yeah, so one key benefit, Clark, is we've had clients tell us that they've been able to decrease their time to submittal to hiring manager from days to hours from posting the job. So that's one huge benefit of that rediscovery function.
That's I mean, always huge. Are there like industries or skill sets or anything that you guys typically like focused on or like experts at, or like there's a kind of like a bread and butter, or is it just kind of like everything?
So we're industry agnostic, believe
Yeah.
it or not, and our clients come from a wide variety of verticals, including manufacturing, insurance, have a lot
Yeah.
of technology as well. We work with a famous print marketing company. So we're industry agnostic. We can work with just about anybody.
Okay. Nice. And how did you come to be at Faster? Like,
You
how?
know,
What's the journey to get there? Yeah.
I've had a pretty interesting career journey in general. So graduated college in 2012, and I'm from LA originally, born and raised out here. So like a lot of LA kids, I wanted to get into show business right out of school. I had stars in my eyes, and I took an unpaid internship at a boutique PR firm. It's because I wanted access to celebrities and that kind of thing. And you know, that job, that internship really put a lot of hair on my chest, and that turned into a PR job, believe it or not. Uh, but I couldn't handle the particular stresses of the entertainment industry. I won't get into the details too much, but you can probably imagine what it's like based on the news you hear coming out of that world. Uh, so I took the sales skills that I picked up in PR, because PR is essentially sales. You're
Yeah.
selling your clients to newspapers, to websites to get coverage. So I picked up those skills, and I took them into healthcare sales, and I worked for a healthcare staffing company, Maxim Healthcare Services.
Yep.
Uh, I was a community liaison there, meaning I would go around to the various nursing homes, hospitals, assisted livings in LA County to sell our services, get the referral, and then meet with the family or the patient to sell them on our caregiving services. And then we'd have to staff that case with the caregiver.
Yeah.
So that was my first taste of the recruiting world. And gradually, I got a couple of other sales jobs after that, tried my hand at a couple of other industries like ed tech sales. That was great too, but wound up selling an HR product, Expert HR, in 2019. And that was pretty deep into the corporate world, and grew there from a BDR to a team leader, a sales manager. And then in 2022, after 3 years of selling a compliance product, I found Fastr.ai, and I applied for a job there because I thought AI was really interesting, and I wanted to
Yeah.
shake it up and join a startup, do something I had never done before. And I got the gig and haven't looked back
I love it.
since.
I love it. About a year before the AI blew up, right? Because it was like spring of 2023 is when it kind of burst on the scene. So that's
Yeah,
interesting that you got on train right before it. And I want to talk about the PR entertainment side, but just from 2022, 2023, I mean, I don't think you could have had better timing, right?
it was great timing. And that was before the whole Chat GPT
Yeah.
explosion, right? Like, it was just a completely different world back then. And literally, when I was looking for roles at that point, I just saw AI and I was thinking, hey, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea that we would be where we are today with AI.
Sometimes in sales, it is just all about that timing, and you can't predict that. I mean, there's like the cultural timing and all that, everything. I mean, what was did you see like just what the before and after for you? I mean, good luck trying to get your role. I mean, it's just like now, like yeah, everyone's applying all these, AI companies, but
Yeah.
like, what did you see from just the sales side of it? Like, just did your like the calls, the leads, the interest go up? Like, what was happening? Kind of when,
Lot,
yeah.
yeah. At first, when I started in the role, there seemed to be a lot of fear and trepidation
Yeah.
around AI. It was this big, mysterious question mark. What does
Yeah.
it do? How does it work? Some people also thought, oh, it's a complete luxury to be
Yeah.
using. Now we know that it's using AI as table stakes
Yeah.
for recruiters, for salespeople, for marketers, really for everybody.
Yeah.
If you have a white collar job. But yeah, things have changed a lot just over that period. And certainly the attitude towards AI in general is probably what's changed most
Yeah.
dramatically. It's gone from something that's a nice to have, something that people don't know a lot about, to something that's a need to have, and something that a lot of people, think they know a lot about, but we all know that we all have more to learn about it.
You could be with an AI company. There's always stuff to learn, and like every day, and things are evolving. And there's Claude and ChatGPT and Perplexity updates. Every quarter, if not every month, like that
Yeah,
are going on. And so, yeah, just staying on top of it. That was one of the themes at ERE that I got from people, was just feeling overwhelmed. For corporate recruiters, agencies, just feeling overwhelmed with AI and not wanting to get left behind.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if you caught and picked up on that too, or kind of heard any of that.
100%. Because there's so much out there. There's so many different providers in the AI space. And honestly, I think, there's room for the vast majority of them. I think everyone brings their own flavor to the
Yeah,
table. But when there's so many options to pick from, whether it's screening tools, interviewing tools, dictation tools,
yeah,
it gets heavy. It gets overwhelming, right? And when I'm looking at my improving my tech stack, I can feel overwhelmed
yeah.
sometimes.
What do you give? Like, what would you say to people like to recommend? That's like best practices for vetting different tools, whether it's automation, AI, knowing if it's gonna incorporate, knowing if they're gonna use it. Like, what's, I guess, your process like, or what's like the best practice that you would just educate people on, kind of how to incorporate AI without feeling like you have to tackle it all at once.
Yeah, definitely ask about the history of the organization, uh, and ask about the algorithm itself. Is the
What do
AI
you mean by that?
proprietary?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, ask about how the AI it operates, and if some AIs or AI organizations use ChatGPT wrappers, right?
Yep.
It's pretty common,
What do you mean by
and
that? Just for
it's
our audience, because I think a lot of people ask me about that all the time.
yeah. So my understanding of it is that they essentially use ChatGPT to build their own AI. It's not wholly their own. It's not proprietary.
Yep.
So you're probably better off working with an organization that uses their own AI, that their developers, their data scientists create it on their own. But with a lot of organizations, if they're using a chat GPT wrapper, my understanding is that material that you enter into the AI, or, that you're inputting, can go straight to Microsoft, or, whomever owns GPT or has a stake in it,
Yep.
which obviously has, huge privacy considerations.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's right. It can work for some things, but to your point, if it gets a little bit more robust, there's more stakes involved. Especially at kind of the corporate level. Like, yeah, you do need privacy protections and client information and everything else. Like, it's important to kind of vet that
Yeah,
out and know what you need it for, right? If it's for some more personal use and stuff like that, we created like a content idea generator, like custom GPT and ChatGPT. It's very obvious that it's ChatGPT. I don't sell it
yeah,
to anyone or anything else like that. It's just like, we created it for our clients just to help them ideate and brainstorm faster, right, based on their stuff.
right,
But it's not like digital recruiter AI, like our own tool. It's like, no, it's very obvious like what this
right.
is. And I think it's people are trying to be sneaky, and I've seen that with some sourcing things. We're like, oh, we have this sourcing platform, and it's really just
It's
like,
not their own.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
basically using like, yeah, they've white labeled something or whatever else.
Yeah, and it's okay if they come to
Yeah,
the table and are, admit it, but
yeah,
obviously if you're cloaking that, it's not good business.
correct. Yeah, just kind of finding ways to kind of vet that out. Yeah, is it your own? Is it proprietary? Is it kind of wrapped on something else? Just so you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah,
I think is important when you're doing these demos and stuff like that.
yeah. The other thing is asking about what antivirus measures the organization has in place, especially if you're looking for a selection tool, asking if these organizations are compliant with the AI laws that have been enacted in places like New York City, right? And then there's one
What are
in
some of those?
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a statute that was put in place in New York City. I believe it was fall of 2023, that all AI, all organizations that use AI, and I believe I have to double check the exact verbiage on this as I'm not a legal
You
scholar.
can paraphrase for us. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So my understanding is that in New York City, all organizations that use AI in their recruiting process need to advertise the fact that they use AI and they need to go through an external audit in order to remain compliant. And I believe that AI like vendors need to just be part of that audit. And sometimes vendors will help the organizations go through, well, the vendors will audit themselves and go through the third party audit just to make sure the organization doesn't get dinged
Yeah.
on that.
That's it's interesting. I mean, kind of just like dealing with the staffing laws, like state by state, and unemployment and everything else. It's kind of an extension of that, but dealing with AI and yeah, being cognizant of that, kind of looking that up, getting that vetted is is important, and it's going to be crazy because it's going to be different state by state, and sometimes even the community. So it'll be interesting to see how that shifts the landscape or the hesitancy. I think people are buying so much stuff right now, and I wonder. It sounds like you guys are getting ahead of just like doing things the right way, by the book, not trying to like race to the next shiny thing and what
Absolutely.
will people will buy, but like how do we be intentional and layer it because we're here for the long term.
Yeah, we got to do it right.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to get screwed over or to get into any sort of legal trouble. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard of Workday
Yep.
getting taken to court because of, bias reasons. I forget if it was a an ageism claim. I
I
think it
think it
may have been an
was.
ageism claim,
Yeah.
but yeah, we are not about that life here.
It's no, and it's yeah, it's important because people are. It's the wild wild west right now in
Yeah.
AI, and it's I think ethically if you make the right decisions now, whether you potentially could be sacrificing a short term cash grab or not. Right? If you really think about it, hey, it's here to stay. Like just you do things the right way, and it works out. Works out. It pays off, and you can be kind of like not necessarily the last one standing, but almost kind of feel that way. I think people remember that it builds a brand. I know I deal with that in coaching and consulting, recruitment
Yeah.
coaching and consulting of like people that were doing things a certain way a couple of years ago. That I'm like, all right, like good luck. Doing things that way, or like I heard different things about what was going on and refunds and everything else, and now like they're no longer in business, or they pivoted to something else, right? To like
Yeah.
another market that doesn't know them, and they could scam that market.
It ain't
And it's
right. It ain't right, Clark.
no, it's just part of the
Yeah.
world, though, right? It's going to happen, and you always have like a choice on how you
Right.
approach it. And I think that's the time we're in. Like you can build a brand, like you guys are, just like no, we're going to be intentional. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to keep you up to speed. We're going to make you look good. We're going to not. We're going to make you compliant, but also get the most out of the solution and keep understanding the workflows and kind of almost be like the consultant as much of as a software. And I don't know if you've seen that, but I've seen that a lot of like people, yes, want the tools, but they also want help executing and
Oh,
implementing.
you gotta have it.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have full on account management, people taking care of you, checking in with you. I mean, it's beneficial for both sides just
Yeah.
to have that framework in place because adoption of any tool can be a challenge,
Yeah.
right?
It's huge. How do you guys address that with Faster?
Yeah, so I mean, from the get-go, we're constantly checking in with our clients. We meet regularly with them. We're keeping them informed of just new developments with the product. And when we bring people on board, we start really with small pilot groups just to kind of test things out, right?
I
So
like
the
that.
recruiters can get a feel for who we are and what we do. And from there, we grow the user base. So it's you know, a rollout done in chapters, if that makes sense. And giving it to people in small bites, we think ensures better adoption overall and creating that buzz from the ground up.
I, I do. I have learned to do exactly the same thing on my end with some of the LinkedIn stuff, the automation, the content marketing, people are like, oh, I have 5 recruiters, 10, 15 that I could use with. I'm like, let's start with one. Let's start with you and go
Yeah,
from there, right? Maybe two people, a couple people, but to the same thing, that ground up, that excitement, like, I want some of that, right? To get some of that buy-in.
yeah.
People are like, wait, you don't want all my business right now? I'm like, no, like I don't.
For
I
their
want
own
you to,
good. Yeah,
right? It's all great. Like I want you to be excited. I want you to see the result, and like let's limit the distractions and narrow the focus. Like we're talking right now, we have a clearly established like outline here of like how to get you on track. I feel really good about this
yeah,
and all that. I'm completely with you. I love that you guys approach it that way because that is, I think it relaxes everyone.
yeah,
Right? It's just like, okay, we're not going to bite off more than we can chew, and like these guys are leading me in the right direction. Like
yeah.
I feel
Get
good
those
about
super
this.
users,
Yes.
the champions. Because if
Yeah.
you just drop a tool on a group of people, you're going to have a bunch of folks running around being like, okay, how do I use this? People are going to be asking their colleagues for advice.
Yeah.
Colleagues won't know what advice to give. No one's going to use the tool. It's a waste of money for the company. No one renews, lose, lose for everybody.
So if I'm an agency or corporate recruiting team or something like that, like thinking about looking at Fastr, trying it, like you mentioned something interesting, super users. Like, how do you define a super user?
It's someone that'll essentially lead the charge with using the platform from the jump. Someone part of that initial user group that's going to live and breathe
Yeah.
using the platform from the moment of implementation. Oftentimes it's a recruiter that's pretty tech forward, right? And,
Yeah.
and has a knack for using
Yeah.
new technologies. And those are the people that tend to become the cheerleaders for
Absolutely.
the platform, you know?
Let's look at the other end of the spectrum, the ones that are the anti-super users, right? What are some of the best practices to bring people along that maybe are more tech challenged or tech fearful?
I think just having coaching sessions with them, with their account management team, yeah, whether it's with Fastr.ai or another organization, making sure they're getting the attention that they need in order to most successfully use the platform, and just kind of getting to the bottom of what's the why the trepidation? What is holding you back from
Yeah.
using it? It could be that they're open to using new tech, but they've been burned in the past at other organizations
Yeah.
by using technology that didn't work for them. So it's really understanding the why, and then creating a plan to address that, to correct the behavior, especially if there's a metric tied to it. With a lot of software, a lot of SaaS for recruiting, recruiters need to use it because there's metrics tied to it, like how many folks have been rediscovered by using Fastr.ai. Yeah,
Yeah.
how much time per day are you spending with these tools open in your browser? So,
Is that some of the KPIs that you see starting to get measured or implemented when
yeah,
people start working with you? Yeah.
yep. So that's part of it is, measuring usage of the tool. And, we have this reporting function that organizations use just to see, how many people have been rediscovered and so on and so forth.
When recruiters hear, producers, hear more KPIs and all that, like all that, right? The alarm bells go off, right? How do you make sure that it's like aligned, right? Or the incentives are there for all parties? So it's like, no, this makes sense for me to do and keep track and
Yeah.
be and participate in.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. The tool is supposed to help
Yeah.
recruiters. It's all about framing it not as a pain in the butt or like, oh, here's this, tool you need to use. It's, hey, this is really going to help you. You just went live with this Power BI role. Why are you immediately going on to LinkedIn to source for people when you had a ton of people apply for a Power BI role 3 months ago
Yeah.
that could be an excellent fit for this job? They've already expressed interest in working for your organization, so hit them first. And on the flip side of the coin, say you're just getting slammed with applicants, as most organizations are. Why would you go through all those folks individually when we rank them for you?
Yeah. Have you seen this potentially eliminate some of the need for job postings?
Uh, no, not just yet, not just yet, because at least I still feel that it's good to have an inbound applicant flow, just so you can always get some sort of comparison,
Yeah.
right? You never know if, even though we feel that you're sitting on a gold mine of candidates in your ATS, it doesn't hurt to add to that gold mine, right?
Yeah. When, because like there's, there's a case to be made for that, right? The inbound. I've seen a lot of spam on the inbound applications and kind
Oh
of sorting
Lord,
through.
yeah.
But it
It's like
seems
the hot
like
topic of the day, the fake applicants. I don't even know what's going on there, man.
it's not. So you guys are able to kind of weed through some of that stuff, or kind of eliminate and just kind of rank people, so people don't really have to worry about that
You
stuff
know,
as
it's
much. Yeah.
it's something that we're talking about for our roadmap. Right now, full transparency, we do not do that because it's our ethos that it's really the recruiter's job to screen out applicants that might be being
Yeah.
less than honest, to kind
Yeah.
of sugarcoat it, or to screen out applicants that are flat out lying. We can
Yeah.
just say it that way. But you can't change you can't change people. There's always going to be applicants that apply with a resume that's just full of falsehoods.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on the recruiter to look out for those red flags. And then, when you have AI catching resumes that are BS'd with AI, you kind of get into a kind of a sticky situation
Yeah.
potentially.
It's it's not easy to navigate. No, and I appreciate the answer of just the recruit. We got to keep it human at some point, right? And we can
Right.
bring it. We can bring almost right the horse to the water type of situation. It's almost kind of the approach, but the recruiter still got to do the recruiting job, which I think is very fair, obviously very valid. Um, let's talk about kind of like the AI matching, right? Something that gets thrown around, different tools and stuff like that. Has it? A lot of people kind of announce it. Or a lot of tools, announce like we have AI. I think everyone almost feels like they have to announce something kind of AI. But like, how does AI matching kind of work, right? Like, how do you guys kind of leverage it and ensure like it just gets the recruiter what they need?
Yeah. So a lot of AI matching is really keyword based,
Yeah,
right? So the old fashioned mode of AI matching for some, more old school models would be, hey, this person has on their resume that they have experience in psychotherapy. The job listing calls for someone with experience in psychotherapy. Boom, the match is made just based on the keyword match.
yeah,
With faster AI, we understand the why, the context behind the match. So our parsing technology understands resumes and job descriptions holistically. So say you're hiring someone, Clark, that you want to have collaborative learning skills. That's what the JD says. You're looking for a collaborative learner.
yeah,
Most people don't put that they're a collaborative learner on
yeah.
their resume. I mean, it's a nice buzzwordy phrase, but no one's really going to put that unless they're using AI to make their resume. But,
Correct.
if someone says they're a team player, our AI will see those two phrases as synonymous. And that'll be the kind of analysis that goes into making the match. So it can pick up on trends, it can pick up on synonyms.
Where do you feel like this is all headed with AI, right? Because you have AI matching now. What do you feel like is the evolution of AI matching? Kind of what's on the radar down the road?
You know, your guess is as good as mine, but
Yeah,
maybe we'll ultimately get to a place where AI can understand if someone that's applying for, a mid-level position could be a good fit for a management position or a higher level position that's opening up down the line, essentially predicting that person's, ability to grow
yeah.
within a company. I think that could be a potential avenue for
Inter-
where AI is going.
Interesting. So like
Yeah.
taking like working with teams more to figure out like traits of like successful leaders, like that potential, building that pipeline, like, hey, this person's kind of on track, and you really even blending some of the retention type stuff that say, HR consulting firms do with some of the
Hmm.
recruiting TA function, and kind of potentially building out like true organizational pipelines, not just for that role, but almost like career mapping
Yeah.
internally potentially as well, and like what and making some recommendations there.
Yeah. I do think, yeah, the internal mobility component is definitely of HR is definitely going to be the future. Right now it doesn't seem like it's getting a whole lot of attention because sadly, we're in an environment that's just ridden with rifts and layoffs, but
Yeah.
you know, times always change, and we'll get back to the point where companies are going to be thinking about how do we retain people, how do we retain the best of the best? How are we going to stop, you know, these great Gen Z workers from moving on to different jobs, you know?
It's going to be huge. You mentioned kind of the rifts and some of the layoff stuff like that happen. I know one of the things that's important, like I know you like talking about, is kind of just the mutual right support opportunities that kind of exist in the TA ecosystem. There's economic pressures, uncertainty, stuff like that. Like, what do you like? What do you kind of look at there, right? Or like kind of like what are some of the initiatives and or thoughts that you have around just like bridging some of those gaps that are going on right now?
Yeah, so one thing that we do here at Fastr.ai is we throw local events, particularly in the Bay Area and to an extent in LA, where we bring together local TA leaders, middle management, practitioners, and then folks open to work just to mingle, have a few beers, and meet each other, And what we're trying to do there is just create an environment that's conducive to not only networking, but generating future job prospects for these folks that are out of work, and maybe for folks that aren't even out of work yet, but who knows what's going to happen, to their roles down the line.
That's
So
cool. I mean, just really bridging that in-person networking and not necessarily looking to even get anything out of it in the short term, but just kind of doing the right thing, building right
yeah,
that not just the brand, but how you guys actually live that through, right? Live out some of the values of just
yeah,
some people just need someone to your point, have a beer or two and just have someone to talk to about the market, and you're talking to people that they might be looking to get hired from all day, every day, and giving that insider knowledge and that insight in a low pressure environment
right.
uh, is
Community
is
is just
nice.
super
Yeah,
community is super important, I think, now more than ever,
yeah,
right? Just having that positive place to go, hang out, let your hair down, and let's connect as people, and maybe there'll be some professional overlap there too.
yeah. It's one of those like how we met at ERE, right? It's just
Yeah,
like there's just nothing beats it really. It's like we could with
yeah,
the end of April recording in June, and it's just like you go right back to that our conversation, a couple of conversations we had, like, oh yeah, that's like that's right. Like we get the busyness of every day, and then there's just something that's imprinted more when you have
yeah,
that in person uh,
yeah.
connection meetup. Is something I've been aiming to do more of. I know you're going to get to a few more events, and that's kind of just part of the role.
Well,
It
Clark,
makes it fun. Yeah,
when I saw you get on stage to do play that funky music, I
yeah.
knew that I needed to be on this show,
You
and
know that guy. Yeah. Even though
yeah,
all the cigarette smoke, all the excuses are coming out. Cigarette smoke, that little course, the stage was a little cramp, but it's
yeah,
okay. That's okay.
you know.
I'm not going to be a diva about it. That's fine.
Maybe next
Uh,
time we can do a
uh,
little duet. I don't know if you're into the Beastie Boys, but maybe we can do Intergalactic or something like
you
that.
might have to carry that song. I'd have to practice a little bit. It's a little
Okay.
quick for me. When the words are fast, is can be a little bit of a
Sure.
struggle. I'm a C plus student over here, so we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful of that. Uh, but no, man, it was fun. What'd you get up there and sing?
I didn't get up there, man.
Wait, you didn't get up?
I
Yeah.
was, to be honest, I wanted to sing "Play That Funky Music," but you got up there
Then
first
I
to do it.
snaked it. You should have done it, man, because it was tough. Because it was one of those where, with the words like go along with you, like it lights up as it goes along. Well, this didn't. So like I had to keep track of it myself, and I
Yeah,
don't have the beat or anything like that. Like I need as much help as I can get from the karaoke machine, like as
yeah.
much. And so I was all over the place. I was like, wait, I have to be like a real singer. Like I don't know how to do any of this.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the live
uh,
band element really ups the stakes,
it
right?
does. There's no room for
That's
error.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
no room for
there's no
error.
room for error. But it was super fun. Yeah, it's fun to get up there. It's like you're learning, all this stuff at the event, networking with people. It's always interesting, kind of who gets up and it was fun. It was a fun experience, and yeah, you spoke. I think that was your first time speaking, right?
It was first time
What
on
were your
stage.
thoughts? What'd you talk about? What'd you think? Like, how'd it go? Yeah,
I thought it went really well, and the feedback was very positive overall. I'm just all about putting myself out there, right? You just
yeah,
got to get up there, you got to get in front of people, and that's the only way that you're gonna get good at public speaking is just doing it,
yeah,
And I practiced that. I practiced that speech a ton,
yeah,
and I practiced that demo a ton, including in front of my wife, who, was very patient with me.
yeah.
She's in a completely different industry, but she was just, a total rock star and watching me practice my presentation. But yeah, I thought it went really well. And I can't wait to do it again. There's nothing quite like being in front of a live audience. I think the last time I did that was probably my bar mitzvah 23 years ago.
That's amazing. Little bit different topic at hand. Yeah, yeah. It's no, it's super cool, man. And I'm with you. I think there's a nice evolution, and I don't know if you've seen it too in our culture, where I think for a long time there was a almost a penalty on trying things and being an amateur at
Yeah,
first. And I think there's a shift, or maybe I just don't care anymore because I'm getting older. Maybe it's a shift in my own life of just like you to get good at anything, you got to be suck at it first.
absolutely. Yeah,
And not to
just
say that
go.
yours did, but like whatever bar you were at in the first presentation is going to be way different number 10 at number 100 at number
Right,
200. And going to a couple more of these events, I've noticed just like the pro speakers, right? They've been on the circuit 10, 20 years. They're just like they're dialed in, their cadence, it's almost like a stand-up routine, right? Like you
right.
build it up, punchline, build it up, punchline. And
Yeah,
I just have a lot of respect for that, and knowing like where I'm at in my speaking career, which is early on, and just having fun with it. Like I feel good about the material and confident in what I have to educate the market on. I know you do as well, and obviously you are the head of sales, but you believe in it. You've been at it 3+ years, like you know it in and out, right? It's like part of your DNA, if you will, like at least your career DNA, and so that always stands out right away. And that's what I tell
yeah,
like if you just have something you feel confident that like you could just share at a happy hour networking event, or like you just like could talk and riff on, like that's what you should be speaking about and like focus on, and then you get
totally.
to kind of get better, you get to refine it over and over again.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And it's interesting, like, we talk about how there's nothing wrong with just doing things and starting from a point of no experience. Yeah, I have some, younger nephews, cousins, and right now I'm trying to coach them just on like, hey, you're trying to get that summer job at McDonald's or Rallies, like, just go, like, show up, follow up with the hiring manager in person, you know. I know it might sound awkward, but you just have got to do it.
it's what resonates, it's what stands out because people can sense when you put yourself out of your comfort zone. You're like, I get it, but I'm here anyway.
Yeah,
And there's the respect level you get from just people in the market, it goes up like significantly. I
yeah,
mean, if it's kind of dumb with my LinkedIn posting every day, which on the surface kind of like, all right, you post on LinkedIn every day, but it's done a lot of stuff, to put myself out there and all that. People resonate with it, and it doesn't. I don't really care about likes or anything else like that, but just being able to like do things aren't other people aren't willing to do as easily.
yeah,
Like whenever you can stack those things, it just confidence goes up, right? It's huge.
right.
It's really powerful. And people can get a lot more value out of it than I think sometimes people we realize. It's like the kind of the what's obvious to us is like what people need to hear typically. and learn, because
Yeah.
just because if it's our specialty doesn't mean it's anyone else's.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes maybe a speech, at a talk falls flat at a conference, or maybe a post doesn't get a whole lot of likes. Learn from it, move on.
That's
It
it.
could be any reason for that.
Could be
You
the
can't
wrong
take it
audience.
personally. Could be the
Yeah,
wrong audience, could be the
yeah,
day, like
yeah.
could be any number of
Could
things,
be
but you just
post
got to keep
lunch,
rolling.
right? Low
Yeah.
blood sugar,
Low
like
blood sugar. Yeah. You
it,
didn't have your Mountain Dew. Like, it could be
that's
anything.
it. Yeah, hand out Diet Cokes to everyone before you speak. Yeah, it's the key, right? Get them
Not a bad
a Red
idea.
Bull. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really isn't. So it's interesting you mentioned your PR background, and it's been on my mind to circle back to this the whole time.
Yeah.
And
I got some
I,
stories, man.
yeah, well, I got a
Save
couple
that for the
too.
after hours podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I worked in college football. I worked in pro football for a little bit right after school. I went to LA. I worked in commercial production. Did like a Grammys event once, stuff like that. So I know what you're talking about when people have celebrity, how the people around them treat them. It's almost like when you get out of it. Like I got into recruiting, and you got into recruiting after. It's just like recruiting's a grind, but it's almost like nothing seems as hard as like whatever that world we were in is.
Yeah. I'm still in recovery from it, man. It
Yeah,
was
still
13 years ago.
same here. Same here. It's like a lingering PTSD
Yeah.
from just like people been getting put on a pedestal that you're like, this person is not smart. Like, what's happening here? How is this happening? Or just getting
Yeah.
yelled at for like putting the wrong, like, I didn't want that sugar packet. I wanted that sugar packet. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the stuff's insane. I don't know if you watched the show The Studio on Apple
Oh, I
TV.
loved it. I mean, I'm an LA guy,
I know you
Clark.
had to
That's,
watch. We
yeah.
just ran through it, and it was just like it was pretty funny because it hit on just the absurdity
Yeah.
of a lot of that stuff, and it is that absurd.
It's the level
Uh,
of ego, right?
it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, what are some of the lessons that you took from just being in that, and then kind of looking back and making the obviously the decision to leave? But like, what do you think of when you think back to that kind of like early career days being in that environment?
I think it's part of it is just being grateful to have any paid job, because when I started there, I was an unpaid intern
Same
at
here.
first.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that was a big part of it. And another big part of it is like, hey, if you're working with someone and they're tearing you down, and I'm lucky to be in a situation where that's not the case for me, but, you know, try to look through the insults, and get to the bottom of where it's coming from, and maybe there is a nugget of useful advice in there that you can learn from. And then the other item is, hey, you just got to keep pushing, period, the end. Like, if you're in a situation like that, you're down because of how you're being treated, um, you just got to push through. Your life is your own. Give it your best. Uh, don't quit your job until you have another job lined up, unless, of course, the situation is unbearable, truly, truly, truly unbearable. And yeah, just keep grinding. There are better days ahead. Separate yourself from your work day, and just know that you're more than the person you are at work.
Yeah,
You
your
know.
your worth isn't defined by it. It can be very fulfilling, but there's stages where it's not, and it's very well said, because it is hard, especially in early mid 20s, to be like, well, am I a piece of crap? Like, well, all
Yeah.
that stuff, and it's just like, no. And then you get to be in your 30s, and I'm in my late 30s. I'm like, those people were insane.
Yeah.
Because I have no desire to treat people that way.
Yeah.
Still, 15 years later,
I'm still happy I did it, for sure,
yeah.
because again,
For context and for
for
appreciation now
context,
and gratitude
yeah.
now, dude,
And
every day is
it
a
really
blessing.
honed my work ethic as well.
Yes.
Because that's when I learned how to do cold outreach,
Yeah.
more or less. But yeah, and I'm grateful for all the funny stories, the war stories, right?
Yes, absolutely. For the after hours unrecorded episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been obviously super fun to to hit record, have this conversation, be able to go live. What's the biggest takeaway you would want a listener to have, anything related. I mean, you had a pretty good one about work and all that just now, and identity. Any kind of final takeaways?
Yeah, don't be scared of AI. Learn to embrace it, and try out different tools. See what's on the market. Uh, when it comes to Faster AI, we're open to connecting with anyone just to have a conversation. Even if you're not necessarily the right market fit for our product, we're always happy to just talk to you and point you in the right direction. So yeah, there's that. AI is here to stay, and we got to learn how to use it. It's table stakes.
Absolutely. Well, I love it. Well, thanks for being here. We're gonna have your LinkedIn URL in the episode summary, so connect with Matt, book a call. Right? I don't know if you be the one running it or someone else, but book a call, figure it out. I always recommend doing demos, learning. Obviously, you guys could tell Matt's a good dude, knows what he's talking about. He's gonna point you in the right direction. That's what you want to build in this day and age is people, vendors, people that that are legit, that know what they're talking about. They're going to keep up with it, and that can be a little harder to find than we might realize. So, dude, appreciate you, coming on here, meeting you at ERE, and I know you and your wife are expecting. So, good luck with that, and congrats,
Thank
and
you.
Mazel Tov there, and wishing you, a good, a smooth and happy delivery. And I'm excited to hear from you on how your world changes when the baby
Keep you
arrives.
posted. Maybe we'll do a
Yeah,
follow-up show in a year from now.
yeah, with the bags under
I might
eyes and
be bald.
everything.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, with the bags under the eyes, everything else. The long beard. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, but appreciate you coming on, man. It's been great talking to you, and and all that good stuff.
Thanks, Clark. Cheers. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
all right. Well, if you got some value out of this episode, which I know you did, give us 5 stars, likes, give us some love, give Matt some love, connect with them, tell them how much you appreciate the episode. And until next time, y'all, happy hunting.